I'm tired of people picking on Nikola Jokic. Hey guys, Emmanuel here, and before I jump into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special. That is the Help a Brother Out, and you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I'm not one for long intros, so let's jump into the story. Nikola Jokic is once again at the crosshairs of media hate, and it's not good. I don't like when this happens, but if you don't know what's going on, let me fill you in. Last week, Kendrick Perkins insinuated that if Nikola Jokic wins MVP this year, it will have been because he's white, and that the MVP voters are racist. I know, absurd, but it goes further back than last week. You see, Nikola Jokic is on the verge of accomplishing something that is very special, something that hasn't been done since 1984 when Michael Jordan entered the league, and that is he's going to three-peat the NBA MVP. Now, there's only literally 4 players in NBA history that have ever done this. That is Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Larry Bird. Now, that is a very elite company. Michael Jordan has never done it. LeBron has never done it. And so it's very, very prestigious. And because of this fact, some in the NBA media don't want Nikola Jokic to win the MVP for a number of biases. You see, when the season first started and Jason Tatum was leading the MVP race, people don't care. When Nikola Jokic overtook him and he was leading the MVP, people didn't care. You want to know when people started caring? When it came to light that if Nikola Jokic was going to win this year, he would join Rare Air. He would do something that Michael Jordan or LeBron James has never done. That's when people started caring. Now, why? Right? Why did people change their tunes? Why did media heads all of a sudden try to create narratives? Now, part of the reason, in my opinion, why they started changing the narrative on Nikola Jokic was because Nikola Jokic isn't your typical basketball player. He doesn't look the part, right? If you were to spot Nikola Jokic out in public and you didn't know he played basketball, he would look like just a tall mechanic or a tall construction worker. Nothing really flashy about him. Doesn't have any crazy hair, no tattoos, doesn't have a huge following on social media, doesn't say anything controversial. The guy just literally puts on his hard hat and goes to work every day. Now, he happens to be very good at his job. That's why, in my opinion, a lot of people don't want him to join this league. And I hate that it's true, but a lot of NBA media don't want a white European player coming in and doing something that their hero, Michael Jordan, has never done. You see all the hate that LeBron James gets when he does something MJ never did. People, especially in the NBA media, glorify, deify Michael Jordan, right? And they don't like when his stature is threatened. They don't like it at all. Now, one of these people was Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins, as you all know, is a former NBA player. He played in the league for a number of years, and now he is with ESPN and hosts occasionally ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith on there. Sometimes he's not. I don't watch ESPN First Take. I prefer Undisputed myself. But he tried to create the narrative, and that's a key word, create. And what he tried to create was that Nikola Jokic is only being favored this year because of racism. He tried to come up with these bizarre BS statistics to try and substantiate his point of view, right? What he said was this. He's like, 80% of NBA voters that vote for, all the athletes in the NBA are white, and because of that, they're voting for the only white candidates that they can, right? Now, the 80% number, that's some arbitrary number that he pulled out of nowhere. That's not even true. 80% of NBA voters aren't white. But he went on and tried to make it as if this is a thing that happens all the time and it's been going on for a long time by saying this. He said, since 1990s, the only players that have ever won the MVP trophy without being top 10 in the scoring have all been white. Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and now Nikola Jokic. Now, I'm glad there are people with brains because a lot of people called him out on this BS. Charles Barkley, but most importantly, JJ Redick. JJ Redick made his point, and he made it be known that he only cut that off at 1990 for a specific purpose. Because if he were to go further than 1990, he would realize what he's saying doesn't fit his narrative. You see, if you go further back than 1999, you'll find that Magic Johnson won like 3 MVPs without being in a top 10 scoring list. If you look at the NBA MVPs, there are more black MVPs than there are white MVPs. But that wouldn't fit the narrative that he was trying to create. And that's why I said it was key. He was trying to create literal narrative out of nowhere. Why? Because he doesn't want someone he doesn't deem as part of basketball culture, as part of your typical NBA player. Tall black guy, flashy tattoos, maybe his game is flashy, has a lot of following online. Literally, Nikola Jokic is none of that. And there are people in the media that don't like that about him. They don't even like the fact that he's European. But here's the reality that's going to make them uncomfortable. If Nikola Jokic wins the MVP trophy this year, it will have been because of pure talent and skill and because he deserved it. Why? Because Nikola Jokic this year is playing at an MVP caliber level. He's been doing that for like 4 years. Quietly. He doesn't make a fuss about it. You literally just have to watch him play to see how valuable he is to his team. You see, this season, Nikola Jokic is averaging a triple-double. And on Twitter, on social media, and on sports talking shows, I've heard the narrative that he's stat padding. Oh my God, it's not true. And I've also heard the narrative that, well, you guys ridiculed Russell Westbrook for averaging a triple-double. But they couldn't be further from the truth. This season, the Denver Nuggets are 25-1, and they're only one as of last night. Prior to last night, they were 25-0. Today is March 11th. Prior to yesterday, they were 25-0 this season when Nikola Jokic dropped a triple-double. What does that tell you? It tells you that every single rebound, point, assist that Nikola Jokic gets is needed, is valued. He's not putting up empty numbers like Russell Westbrook did. He's not stealing rebounds from his own teammates to stat pad his stats like Russell Westbrook would do to Steven Adams. He is playing winning basketball. His methods are translating to wins. The Denver Nuggets have been the best team in the Western Conference and a top 2 team in the NBA since Christmas Day. They've been number 1 in the West for 3 months now. Why? Because that man, Nikola Jokic, is dangerous. That man, Nikola Jokic, he's good. Furthermore, I talked about this before the season started. I made a prediction, and this prediction came to become true. Last year, when I was watching the Denver Nuggets play against the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs, and Nikola Jokic was literally carrying his team by himself against the Golden State Warriors, who eventually went on to win the NBA championship, I noticed just how good he was, and I noticed just how good the Denver Nuggets were. And I made the prediction that if this year Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray stay healthy for the duration of the season, and Nikola Jokic plays like how he was playing last year, MVP caliber, the Denver Nuggets would be the best team in the NBA, or one of the best teams in the NBA, and it would be a nightmare for every single team. Now, has that come to pass? Well, Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray have been healthy all season long. And if we look at the standings, Denver Nuggets are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So you do the math. What do you think? Is he playing at an MVP caliber level? Is a triple-double good enough for you? Is he super efficient? Have you watched Nikola Jokic? Do people know how good he is? And that's the problem, right? He doesn't look the part. He's not flashy. He's not John Morant. Right? He doesn't gravitate you. He just does his job extremely well and doesn't fuss about it. But I can assure you that Nikola Jokic isn't dominating the league because he's white. I can assure you Nikola Jokic is dominating the league because he is extremely disciplined, extremely focused on what he's trying to do. That's why you don't hear anything about him outside of basketball. And he's extremely skilled and talented. One of the best passers I think this league has ever seen. Kendrick Perkins and all others like him are going to have to conjure up new narratives to try and discredit or smear this guy, Nikola Jokic, because he's done nothing wrong. He's just been playing basketball at an exceptionally, really good level. But if you like this kind of content and if you like these kind of topics, then this is the channel for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and until next time, kids.